Where are all the small cars? Like, yes, we have the Polo and the Yaris, but damn, they ain't even small anymore. They're like 2 meters wide and 4 meters long and weigh 1.5 tons. I'm talking about the real small cars, the smart car, the Renault Twizy, the Up, the 107, the Twingo. Oh, isn't that just the most beautiful car you've ever seen? Where have they all gone? As cities has been prioritizing bikes, pedestrians and public transport, reduced parking and car-free zones are more and more common. I even live in one. But guess what? These changes don't work well with big cars. Today's cars keeps growing, but our cities, well, they're staying the same size. They're still built on the same tight layouts of the 19th and 20th century, and in those environments, small cars used to thrive. Have you ever tried to park a modern SUV in a parking garage, or even just parallel park it on a busy city street? It's a logistical nightmare. Parking spaces designed for smaller cars decades ago are now barely wide enough to accommodate today's 7-seater SUVs. Multi-story car parks have become obstacle courses with tight ramps and pillars posing a constant threat to your paintwork. This isn't just an inconvenience, it's a daily struggle. The sheer bulk of modern cars makes urban maneuvering a stressful and often impossible task. Or at least that's what I hear. I bought an Audi A2 for 450 bucks. I can throw that shit in sideways without worries. And that's about the only good thing about that car. Please subscribe. Despite what car companies might say, the demand for small cars certainly hasn't disappeared. Just look at the second-hand market. Prices for used cars like the Up and the Igo have remained steady or even climbed. Why? Because people want them. They're cheap to run, easy to park and just all around perfect for daily life. Smart saw this trend in the early 2000s and leaned into it. They didn't just survive as a small new car brand, they thrived. At least in Europe. The US, not so much. In fact, they're one of the few non-Chinese car brands to make it in the 21st century. Yeah, they have Mercedes backing them and oh shit, other parts of Geely. But still, they're only half Chinese. So what happened? A few things. First, regulations. Modern safety standards demand a lot of useless features that add weight and size, like crumple zones and airbags and pedestrian safety. This all make it harder to build tiny cars that can pass crash tests. To meet NCAP safety ratings, for example, cars now require a host of electronic safety systems like automatic braking and lane keeping assist. A 5-star car from 10 years ago would barely make 4 just because of electronic systems. And these systems add significant cost, and nobody wants to buy an expensive small car. So, as in basically all my videos, it comes down to money. Car makers make more money selling SUVs and crossovers. Small cars are cheap and cheap cars mean smaller profits. If you make 5% per car, you'd rather want 5% of a $100,000 car than a $20,000 car. Third, branding. Car companies want to sell you a lifestyle. Big cars with big screens and big performance makes for better marketing. Consider how Jeep emphasizes rugged adventure or Tesla highlights futuristic tech and environmental responsibility. Small cars like the Fiat 500 or Mini Cooper often rely on quirky charm or niche appeal, positioning themselves as an urban-friendly alternative. However, this quirky charm rarely competes directly with the aspirational allure of power and luxury showcased in advertisements for bigger vehicles. For example, people still look at 0 to 60 times, even though it's kinda outdated. It basically comes down to reaction time and luck these days, but people still want that number to be low. Also, there's been a shift in consumer psychology. Bigger cars are seen as safer and more prestigious. Even in cities, people gravitate towards bulk. So even if a small car makes more sense, it's not the one that people dream of. That creates a feedback loop. Less demand leads to fewer models, and fewer models means less competition and innovation, which in turn makes the remaining options less attractive. But guys loves the Civics from the generations when they were actually small, and all the girls want a Mini Cooper or a Fiat 500, and everyone loves the MX-5, so I can't imagine it being that hard to market. Honestly, they just need to be cheap. But here's the thing, as cities tighten their grip on space, as congestion charges rise, and as more people reconsider what kind of vehicle they actually need, the case for smaller cars only gets stronger. So why, instead of more tiny cars, are we seeing a massive surge in huge EVs? A new electric SUV or even electric trucks are hitting the market every day. Even the fucking Hummer is an EV now, and of course they have a pickup version of it too. I can guarantee that 100% of these buyers haven't needed a truck bed in the last 5 years. Why is even luxury trucks a category? They are two opposites. It's a strange world where we have the technology to make clean, compact vehicles perfect for dense city life, but we're using it to supersize EVs instead, because bigger EVs brings in higher margins and they qualify for the same subsidies. They fit the premium image that automakers want, but most people just want a cheap, shitty little car with AC and Bluetooth radio, with cheap and easy maintenance and shit, people just want A2.